Hey friends, happy Wednesday, December the 20th, day 58 of Experiencing God. How have you experienced God today? So today I experienced God through holding the promise. And so earlier this year, I was in a time of fasting and praying. And oftentimes what happens from fasting and praying is you receive revelation. And so the really cool thing about fasting is that as you fast and you push food away, you push away the very thing that was the first temptation that caused the first sin. And so people oftentimes underestimate the power of fasting and prayer. But like I said, fasting and prayer produces a lot of things, and one of those is revelation. And so this year when I was in the time of fasting and prayer, one of the things the Lord spoke to me about was sewing a dress into my friend's life. And so he told me one day to pick out one of the girls' really beautiful dresses and sew it into my friend Sarah's life. And I was like, okay, that's, I don't want to read too much into that, but I'm pretty much sure you're telling her you're going to have a girl. Like, this is your promise. And so a couple of days after the Lord spoke to me to do that, I saw Sarah's husband, and he was like, I'm not supposed to tell you, but Sarah's pregnant. And I was like, makes sense. All right. And so here's the thing is that Sarah has a little boy and she wanted a little girl, and she had been praying for a little girl. She didn't know it would be that quick. But all of God's promises are yes and amen. We know that from 2 Corinthians 1:20, all of God's promises are yes and amen. And so he used me to confirm that she was promised a girl, that she would have that girl. And so before she even had her ultrasound, she had the confidence that, this was her promise from God. And so I just want to encourage you, every good and perfect gift comes from the Father. Every good and perfect gift. That baby's a good and perfect gift, and she's a promise. And today I was able to hold her. And it was so cool. It was so cool to see the promise. God made that promise about a year ago. And so I want to encourage you. Sometimes it takes a year for the thing that God has promised to be able to be held in your hands. Maybe it takes longer than that. Sometimes it takes 5 years. Sometimes it takes 10 years. Sometimes it takes 17. I don't know. Sometimes it takes 3 days. But if God has made you a promise, he will be faithful to see it through, because all of his promises are yes and amen. So be encouraged today. If he's made you a promise, stand on it. He's not going to let you down. I love you guys. Have a great day.